Call the meeting to order.
Jenkins,
Here.
Harden, Hahn,
Here.
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl.
Here.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There being no public comments on agenda items, we move to section 1, the consent agenda.
Motion to approve section 1, the consent agenda.
Second. Call. Yes.
I have a question about the bills.
Yes.
The dispatch fee, is there an annual fee? It is.
It's a percentage
A percentage of what?
of what Dewitt County, Clinton Farm City share. Percentage is,
Do you know how it's determined?
no, a lot of
It's a percentage.
It's a percentage of their overall bill based on our population.
Overall bill.
Well, their overall expenses.
What's, okay, their overall expenses?
Yeah, their overall expenses, and then they charge us a percentage of it. So. Call
Jenkins,
it. Yes.
Hahn,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl.
Yes.
Motion carries.
There being no unfinished business, we move to section 3, new business.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 941, amending the offenses against public morals regarding public urination and defecation within the city of Farmer City.
Second it.
Discussion.
So we don't have something that specifically covers this, correct? That's why they,
This is a new ordinance.
okay. So we do have, public indecency, but nothing that covers this specifically.
What prompted it?
I haven't heard what prompted it. I did hear, was there someone urinating in City Hall property? That's what I heard.
The police department brought it in to me to put it on the agenda.
That's fine.
Yeah, I believe that you had said something about people urinating in the back of that alley too.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Sounds like a good one.
Call it.
Hahn,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 942, Mediacom franchise agreement.
Is this
A second. We need a second.
No, no second.
Discussion?
is this an annual thing we have to do?
Not annual, it's just, but it was due.
And this is, I believe this is a 12-month one, it looks like, in section 1, 12-month period.
So we went through this last year and they ended up getting several bids and it was the cheapest one. I'm assuming it's the same thing for this year.
This is 12 months.
So I think it's been 3 years, the previous one had, and the last year I think was 1 year. And this is, looks like the one year.
This is the franchise fee.
Yep. Call it.
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins.
Yes.
Hahn,
Yes.
motion carries.
With no city manager report this evening, we move to non-agenda items and other business. One quick point of order, the two lots across the way, in this corner over here, we did win the bid, so the city is taking ownership of that property. I noticed we have no cats and dogs off of property over here. We need to get one over there too. So right on that corner as soon as possible. I know that there's some people who just love to drop stuff off there. So any other non-agenda items? Yes.
A couple things. bringing that up, is there any way we can get a sign on South Park as to where we can have the people either keep their pets off the grounds, the diamonds, preferably, because don't mind them being out there to run all that, but they're not picking up after the pets. And the kids playing out there, or leaving their dog piles out there and not being picked up. If someone would put a sign,
Yeah, we can
put
put a
something
sign.
up
Do we
there.
want a sign up there saying no animals allowed or pick up after
Because
yourself?
a lot of people use it, at least pick up after yourself or possible fine or something that, I know it's hard to monitor out there, but.
I don't know if you can do, I mean, yeah, I would say put a sign up there, please pick up after your pet. It's city property, so, I mean, there can be, I don't think there can be a fine no matter what,
I was
so.
gonna say, there is an ordinance covering.
Yeah, there is an ordinance covering it, so that,
We need to look into that, because I know it's been brought to me in the past, and I kept forgetting about it, you just brought it up there, so.
let me make that note and let him know we want a sign up there. And you said you had a couple?
I've had some concerned citizens brought up to me here in the last couple of months, wondering if anything the school or the city can do. The school is charging the little knights in the basketball league to use their gyms quite a bit, and they're wondering why, as to the city, are not charging the school to use our diamonds. And so I've been getting all the necessary information from all the groups, and Mrs. Wilson called me in a meeting the other day, and we went and sat and talked, and she said it's on the agenda for the next school board meeting, and really encouraged the rec league and the Little Knights League to go in and talk to them and explain to them what's going on.
What's on the agenda?
For the kids, Little Knights basketball.
They're wanting to raise the rent of the gym. They're doubling it, that's what they're doing.
You're doubling it?
Doubling it, and we don't charge anything for the diamonds use and everything, through the Weaver Park or South Park. And personally, I think it's unfair. And they're limiting the time that you can have it for an hour for a certain fee. If you go beyond that hour, you're going to pay another hour's fee, even a minute over from what I'm understanding right now, so it's being strict. It's been pretty strict, so maybe I'm off on that, but a little bit, but they are raising it. They are raising the fee. They're making it a little bit more difficult to get into the gym, which I think is poor too. Whether it's this gym here or it's the gym in Mansfield, it's in the school district, and we pay taxes in the school district, and I think it ought to be a little bit backed off.
Well, I talked to Susan about that, and she says that they are amongst the lowest rates that's charged. But there's a lot of people, a lot of groups that, like, the kids want to play, they want to learn, the coaches want to teach them, so we're there, we're working with them. So she is saying that they're the lowest bid, or amongst the lowest bids. So
You mean other school districts around?
yes, that's what she addressed.
I question that.
So, but
I hear
I didn't know what we could do. I brought it up at a meeting with her. She called me because she obviously heard that I was wanting to get information and brought to talk to them about it. And like I said, that's, in my opinion, it's not fair because, like Willard said, we're already paying our taxes. They don't want to be paying again. But our school's already going to have the heat on. The school's already going to have it because it's in the wintertime. They're not doing anything extra for us.
The school has always been difficult to get into. With the block and a half away from the school, it was always difficult to get into the school, to on a weekend or whatever, it's just off limits.
Well, something else too, the rec league I don't think realized is that when you or whoever's going to rent the facility, you get the whole school, you get the whole gym. You don't just get the one gym, you get both. So that's whenever I told the rec league, I said, you guys need to get together to where the teams can all utilize that gym instead of spreading out more, so that might help some there. But they're going to talk it over, the board can talk about it on the agenda, but I still think they need to cap it a little bit to help some. Not ask them to do it for free, but at least help out some, because a lot of people can't go and do this.
What's your recommendation for the city though? I mean, you asked the question, how can the city help?
I honestly don't know how we can because of what could possibly backlash to us. I mean, I don't know what we can really do.
How can we help? I don't know if we can help. We're sounding off right now, and the press is here, so we're going to report something about this for sure. And but I also think too that if we've been pretty good to the school all these years, and for the softball diamond up here to be used and not have any.
We'll just do the softball,
But-
or soccer field.
But this is new. This is new. This is new down here. This didn't belong to us a couple of years ago. So that was a Fair Board's problem, or whoever on it before that. And, but we have been good to school about the softball diamond. We've been good to school about softball diamond. I won't bring up something else, but, yeah. I just think that they need to kind of sit back and take a look, and we can still be just as nice as we have been.
Well,
It's a two-way street, we can play, it's the same play, same ball.
You know, if you charge them to use the fields, when they just turn around and
Come back to us,
come
yes.
in. What, seriously though, if you charged for them to use the field, I can just foresee that all they would do is, you know, of course, I'm not gonna speak to them, but it just would make sense that all they would have to do is come back to the students and charge them. The fees are already high enough, I wouldn't wanna hurt
I told
individual
Susan,
families.
I said, I don't know for a fact. I coached a 3-on-3 tournament here a couple weeks ago in Bloomington, and I talked to some Downs parents up there, and they was parents, and weren't the coaches or anybody like that. And they said that, like the school, I paid or charged like $1,500. It was capped. So, with the paperwork that I had the other day, the Little Knights themselves, which would be 4th, 5th, and 6th girls and boys, was going to be paying, I think it's $4,200 or $4,500 alone just for that. That's not counting the K through 6 that's going to be on the regular. So, I mean, that's a pretty good lump sum. And like I said, they're going to work together to knock it down, but I think the school could probably help some of that too. Might put a cap on so much.
Well, I mean, it does, it passes down to the children, and our community is, I mean, we're lower income, and I've got kids that play sports, it's not cheap anytime that they do it. I would hope that the school would want to encourage, you know, these extracurricular activities, and making sure that everybody can play and affordable. Are you going to the meeting then?
Planning on, yes.
And what day is that meeting?
The 18th, I believe.
Okay.
Is that right? I think it was the 18th.
Well, I appreciate you meeting with superintendent.
Well, I told the basketball groups I'm no longer affiliated with them. They just come with me as a council member, want to know what we can do, and that's when all this started falling in place with Susan.
I think the answer to that question is I don't know what the city could possibly, you know, do or anything. Yeah, I mean, empathize. So,
I hope that works.
well,
That's all I got.
other than we can publicly say that we would strongly urge the school to do what they can to help out the citizens of Farmer City, given the situation that many parents are in.
Well, that's, I think too, a lot of people don't realize that either, how much money that's being given to it. And I think that's what needs to be brought out to let them know. So.
Any other?
Yes,
Let's get that doorbell fixed.
the places in around on the streets in town that have been dug up because of a water leak or whatever, are they gonna get fixed soon? I see white marks around and everything, something going on there, because they need to get fixed. There's one down from Pat's house,
Just what I was gonna say, we're gonna patch them before they just
you know.
cold chip them, or?
Then there's one down on Water Street by the Serviceway Alley and everything down in there. That's getting to be worse and worse. They need to get taken care of. There's about 6 or 7 of them around town.
Six.
So I would think if you have plenty of time, they could have a full patch in them now before they seal them, so.
And also the bump of the street down on Main Street, get rid of that. Where the one patch was made, we've got it raised up about 1.5 inches, and you jerk every time you go over it. Down from the old Alexander Lumber Yard
On Main Street.
on Main Street.
Right.
That would be the $500 Main Street.
And there was also a sidewalk, the old corner spa, Ming's Corner Spa. There's a sidewalk where they've done some water work, and I noticed though it's sinking in on there. So I'll have to make sure that he gets this taken care of.
While we're down on that end of the street, or somebody we can get that brush picked up from the Sept beside 54 for a while.
Doesn't it call up here?
I don't know, it's been,
Brush it up at last Wednesday of every month.
I think it's been there longer than that.
So, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know if they called them up, I just thought we
is
could.
it a resident or is it?
Yeah, it'd be just directly east of the mini spa, around 154. Right there on the sidewalk, so. I don't know if they called them up, at least we can either get it picked up, because the people are just mowing around it.
Well, there's nobody living in that house, right?
Oh, they're not?
What'd you say it was?
Okay. It'd be, was that just a house just west of Mimi's?
West, it would be.
Or east of Mimi's?
Yep.
Be a house east of Mimi's?
Yeah, they live in back of me, but I think they moved to Decatur.
Okay.
And
But if nothing else, get that picked up, because whoever's mowing it's mowing it, but mowing happens, so. But,
Okay. Any other non-agenda items? We do have one public comment. Sir, you have the floor. Steve?
I was just wondering how many cats a person can have?
4.
4. Okay.
We
Because I just got a litter underneath of my bush in front of my front porch from the neighbors across the street. And, because they come over the other day, it was last week sometime, and he was like, have you seen any kittens? Because this cat was pregnant, now it's not. And I'm like, no, I haven't. I thought my dogs would go nuts, you know. I could hear them under there, and today I could see them. I was out working on the porch, and they're coming up from under the bushes. And there's people across the street, and they have, I don't know how many cats running around there, they don't take care of them.
I'd say get the address to City Hall first thing in the morning. Yeah, it's 4 cats and or dogs, so that's what we have on the books right now.
now is that per
Four.
household or per person and household?
Assume per.
You know how people think.
That's the ordinance. It does not say. A loophole to have more than 1 cat or a dog. It says 4, which I think you can have 6 dogs. So, all right. Any other? Well, no, there's no other public comments. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call it.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Han,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
motion carried.